Imagine a country the size of the Netherlands, but with a per capita income 6 times higher. So how did this country, surrounded by enemies and having fought many wars, become the richest in the region instead of collapsing? Israel is one of the most controversial, also one of the most interesting countries in the world. Since its founding, it has constantly struggled with geopolitical problems. It has even clashed with many of its neighbors at times. Despite this, it has managed to grow its economy since its inception. Today, per capita income in Israel exceeds $50,000. This means it is richer than all its neighboring countries combined. In fact, it would be wrong to compare Israel to any country in the Middle East. We should compare it to the richest countries in Europe. This graph illustrates that comparison. Israel is richer than France, Belgium, the United Kingdom, and even Germany. But how is that possible? Israel is so small, it could be just one city in other countries. 60% of the country is covered in a desert climate. The population is so small, it makes little difference. Moreover, Israel has been in constant conflict since its founding. For a normal country, war brings devastation, its economy collapses, its resources are depleted, growth is hindered, and, most importantly, the morale of the people is gone. But in Israel, the opposite is true. Every time they get involved in a major conflict, their economy grows even more. This graph shows the growth in the Israeli stock market over the past year. They broke a record with a 22% increase. Normally, this shouldn't have happened. Israel has been involved in major conflicts in Gaza, Lebanon, and Iran. From this perspective, Israel is unlike any other country. The first thing that comes to mind is, of course, the aid from America. Israel was founded in 1948. In the 77 years since, it has received $225 billion in military aid and $93 billion in economic aid from America. If we take the annual average, it only amounts to $4.1 billion a year. $4 billion is just pocket change compared to Israel's wealth. Israel's real wealth is actually related to the problems it faced at its founding. The year is 1948. After the United Nations approved the establishment of Israel, 5 countries declared war on Israel. The whole world expected Israel to lose, but the war, which lasted 10 months, ended with Israel's decisive victory. Israel understood as early as 1948 that its existence depended on being militarily strong. That's why they integrated their economy with the defense industry. The steps taken that day are beginning to bear fruit today. 3 of the world's 40 largest defense companies belong to Israel. This graph shows the money Israel earns from its defense industry. In 2025, they earned a record-breaking $15 billion. That's 4 times the amount of aid they received from America. So how was this possible? Even countries that are centuries old aren't this rich. So how did Israel achieve this in less than 100 years? When Israel was founded, its entire economy was based solely on agriculture, and it was a very poor country. At that time, they shared everything to survive. This is called the kibbut and imshav system. The system works briefly as follows. A new village is established in the rural area of Israel. Families who want to live in this village come completely voluntarily. All the equipment to be used in agriculture, storage facilities, or other means of production are purchased with money contributed by everyone living in the village. Then production takes place, and the money earned is distributed again to everyone living in the village. Everything is shared. Nobody receives a salary, and the money earned is distributed again to everyone. This is how Israel survived when it was founded. The period between 1949 and 1959 was a complete disaster for Israel. The country experienced one of the harshest economic crises in its history. Since the establishment of Israel, Jewish people have been migrating from all over the world, but the country's resources were insufficient to meet the needs of the newcomers. Basic necessities such as food, clothing, and furniture were rationed. The state even decided how much each person would eat. The daily calorie intake of an adult was calculated, and foods like meat and eggs were distributed accordingly. Israel, now one of the richest countries in the world, struggled to find even flour and sugar at that time. The first turning point occurred in 1952. Germany lost World War I and was isolated from the rest of the world. Numerous lawsuits were filed against it for its wartime actions. One of these was a reparations lawsuit for the Holocaust. In 1952, Germany agreed to pay 3.5 billion German marks, equivalent to $12 billion in today's money. This agreement alone wouldn't make a country rich, but the money from reparations gave Israel some breathing room. The real turning point came with two wars, the Six-Day War in 1967 and the Yom Kippur War in 1973. While these two wars shook Israel's economy, they also gave them a new perspective. To survive in the Middle East, Israel had to invest in military resources. They invested all the money they earned through reparations in the defense industry and technological advancements. This investment in defense led to two things. Firstly, Israel became stronger and more stable. Secondly, advancements in these sectors developed many other independent sectors. This is the main reason for Israel's wealth. So let's not rush through this. How did the defense industry develop another sector? For example, the Israeli defense company Rafael developed miniature cameras to help missiles hit their targets accurately. Later, engineers who left the company further miniaturized the optical system in the missiles and invented the battery capsule. This small capsule contains a camera and a light. When patients swallow this capsule, the camera inside can determine the location of the disease. So, investment in military technology has generated billions of dollars in the health sector. Israel is a country where both women and men serve in the military. Every woman and man who turns 18 is drafted into the army. Women serve for 2 years, and men for 2 years and 8 months. This is not solely due to the small population. Israel uses its army like a startup hub. Because the army has the latest software and cutting-edge technology, young people serving in the military actually get to experience technological advancements firsthand. Let me give another example. A young man named Gil Shevet went to the army when he turned 18. He started working in a unit called UNET 8200. His job was to protect military computer networks. There, he learned cybersecurity technology. When his military service ended, he founded a company called Checkpoint. Everyone watching this video made money for that company, because this company invented the firewall, which you all know. Actually, what he did was simple. He just applied what he learned in the army to civilian life. Today, Israel is known as a startup hub. Many of the apps and new technologies you use originate from there. They've created numerous new brands in the last 15 years. For example, Waze produces Google Maps. It was founded in Israel. Wix, the most widely used web design platform, was founded in Israel. Fiverr, a site heavily used by YouTubers, was also founded in Israel. These are some of the most famous examples. Then there are the invisible giants. For instance, the USB drives we use today were a technology the military used years ago. An Israeli company opened up USB drives for civilian use. The company that invented Face ID technology on phones also came from Israel, because the military had already started using it. Finally, there's ChatGPT, another company with Israeli investors. I'm sure the Israeli army was using this technology years ago. Israel is a country built on defense. It has no mines, it has no oil or natural gas, there's no gold either. 60% of the country is dominated by a desert climate, but technological investments are changing everything. This tiny country in a desert climate is practically Europe's water reservoir. One of their biggest investments is in water. They are world leaders in water purification. They convert seawater into drinking and agricultural water and sell it to the world. Many countries, from America to India, are Israeli customers. More than 30% of the world's drip irrigation systems belong to Israel. Their greatest strength is agriculture. They don't just produce for themselves. They also sell seeds to the whole world. But those seeds aren't like the ones you know. Normally, you plant a seed, it produces fruit, then you plant the seed of that fruit, and so on. The seeds from Israel, however, are hybrid. If you plant the seed of the fruit that comes from that hybrid seed, the yield drops by 70%. Therefore, you are forced to buy seeds from Israel every year. The reason you can eat tomatoes or find seedless watermelon in winter is due to Israel's agricultural policy. Israel has only one capital. The struggle for survival, no matter what. Facing thirst in the middle of the desert, they developed the world's most advanced water technology. They transformed the MHAV system, which they started out of poverty, into the world's most profitable food industry. Because they were constantly at war, they built their defense and software industries. Then they sold that technology to the world and became rich. Many of the technologies we use around the world today actually arose from fear. The fear of how to survive in the Middle East. At the end of the video, I have a request for you. If you like these kinds of videos, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments section. Goodbye.